Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
Andrew McCart, iFLTV, and I'm delighted as always to be joined by Mr. Dave Coldwell. Dave, how are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. I'm really good. Thank you very much. Excited that fight week's here. It's been a long time coming, but we're here now. So, yeah, it's all good.
5 days away from the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, we'll talk about the teams clashing today with Big John Fury. We will talk about that because, like I say, it's only Monday. We've still got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to go before it's fight night. But yeah, just before we talk about that, how excited are you, not just as a boxing coach, former fighter, but as a fan that we finally get to see this fight?
Who's a fan? Listen, I ain't got anybody in the fight. So I'm just a fan like yourself, like millions around the world that are going to be. This is the pinnacle of boxing, isn't it? Everyone talks about the heavyweight division is the pinnacle of the sport, is the flagship of the sport. This is for the undisputed, the first one with the 4-belt era. It's as high as it gets, so I'm excited. I can't wait for the fight. Yeah, and I just hope the fight delivers. You know, it could go one or two ways because the two very, very clever boxers, two super skilled fighters. It could be a cagey chess match, which for us purists and us that look at the sweet science, it's all good. But for those that are, many are casual and just normal fans of sport that just want to see exciting sport, it might not go that way. Or it could, and it could be an absolute barber.
Well, we're hoping it can be we're hoping it's going to be a classic, I think, and I think that's what we all want to see. But with the sort of postponement of the fights, the back and forth between Usyk and Fury, greedy belly, the sausage, you're a rabbit, you're this, that, and you're a middleweight. With all that, then you chuck in what happened today. There's been so much going on before this fight's been made over the last year. I mean, surely both of these fighters want to go in there and put on a performance of a lifetime.
I don't think the name calling, greedy belly, your sausage and whatever, your dossers, whatever, I don't think that has any bear on it. These are two, you're talking about elite level fighters. And Fury's very, very good at getting under people's skin. Always, Vladimir Klitschko. I was working with Haymaker with the Hay versus Klitschko fight. And David Hay was very, very good at getting under people's skin. And David Hay was a master of mind games. And he met his match with Vladimir. Now, Vladimir completely lost the plot when it came to Tyson Fury, made him hesitant. All the games beforehand and just the whole personas of the camp and him himself, that control that he likes to have and everything was completely taken away from him. And you saw that in the fight, how he was second guessing himself and everything. And Fury got in his head before the fight. All this sort of stuff isn't going to bother Usyk. Usyk looks, he's one of these fighters. He's one of these people that nothing gets under his skin. And I've always said that maybe that could actually rebound itself onto Fury because he'll be the first person that really is not be able to get into, So you don't know. That might be an effect. But truth be told, I don't think any of what's gone beforehand will make any difference come first bell. Once that first bell goes, the fighters are going to go out there and do what they do. They've been boxing since they were little kids. They've took on all comers. Both of them have fought at the top of the sport before. You can't be as successful as what they've been for as long as what they've been and have frail and weak mentalities when it comes down to fighting. I don't think anything's going to affect them. I just think it's going to be down to who performs on the night, who's the better fighter, who's the better boxer, who can put it all together on the night. And I think that's where it's going to be won and lost ultimately. Not all this stuff, not this stuff with Tyson's dad and all that sort of stuff. It's all part of the circuit, it's all part of the boxing game, but it's not going to be a factor in who wins fight night.
Well, Fury, I'm guessing you've seen the shape of Tyson Fury. It looks like he's going to come in a lot lighter than he did against in the Wilder fights, maybe even the Dillian White fight. Will that play a factor? What do you think the game plan is for Tyson coming in sort of like lean and in shape like this?
Who knows? Fury can do it all, can't it? The one thing that I didn't think he could do is what he did in the second Wilder fight, and he did it really, really well. It was fantastic. I didn't think he can go out there and do that job. We always know about it can be awkward, it can be slippery, it can box on the back foot, it can box southpaw orthodox, but I never knew that he could do what he did in the second Wilder fight, front foot, front style, and do a good job at it. So he's a man of many talents. Usyk, we know, again, still tight. I always said, it's Usyk as a heavyweight. I felt as though the size that he's put on, the weight that he's put on, has taken away some of that speed, some of that, some of the moves, angles, and the activity that he have as a cruiserweight. I found him as a listen, don't get me wrong, outstanding top level heavyweight, obviously. But I think in terms of the dimensions that he's got, I think he was better as a still lighter. It was lighter. His style suits being, lighter. So I was wondering, should he come in lighter for this fight against Fury? Because when you're giving away so much weight against somebody like Fury, you're giving the weight away, you're giving the height away. A half a stone here or there, 10 pound, 8 pound, whatever, isn't really going to make much difference in terms of, I'm going to lose strength against the bigger man. What it might do is it might make you a little bit more nimble, a little bit lighter on your feet, being able to get the angles off. Because I feel as though Usyk's got to work really, really hard to win this fight because of the size of Fury, because he's got that height, he's got that reach, because he's got the weight. I feel as though for him to get in, to get out or get off, it's a lot of activity all the way through the night. So a heavier Usyk might slow down, might find that a little bit harder once he starts getting clumped around and any bouts of grappling and man handling or anything like that. But whereas if he's lighter, he could sharpshoot him. It could be in and out before Fury can get going. Could make him look a bit ponderous. And if Fury's the one that decides to go on the back foot and look to counter, he'll still be sharper and more reactive rather than if he's heavier. But I just don't know, mate. I'll be honest with you. It's a fight that I'm leaning on a fence right here. I might as well sit on it because it's one of those fights where it's that good a fight. You're talking with that good a boxers in there where either man could beat either man could beat the other on any given night. It could swap and change, I think.
You mentioned the second Wilder fight. That interests me because Eddie Hearn has said that if Tyson approaches this fight against Usyk the way he did against Wilder in the second fight, then Fury stops Usyk. Do you agree?
I don't know. You think, yeah, because he's got that size advantage. But if he gets it wrong, Usyk's a very, very good counterpuncher. And you've been used to people like looking to go forward at him over and over again throughout his career. Now, granted, he's never fought anybody that's come at him that's 6'9" and the size of Tyson Fury. But he's been made for that style. He's seen everybody coming at him and trying to take his head off, and he's negated that. His feet are that good. He's always been able to glide off, come back and pepper and work when he needs to. So I don't know. I get what he's saying because you be the bigger man, go out there and bully him. We saw with AJ, he had one great round where he kind of like started bullying him and started putting it on him a little bit. We've seen obviously where Usyk looked uncomfortable to the body. I've always said that I felt that he's more uncomfortable to the body than anything else. But you can't get through the career that he's had without having that steel about you, and so he's good enough to ride out those moments. He's got to be consistent where you're beating him up, really, to get to him, I think. And he's not going to. I don't see him holding his feet enough. And if you start reaching, you start falling over yourself and being a little bit, bit clumsy, then you're going to get peppered back. And Usyk hits hard enough to hurt Tyson Fury. I'm convinced that he hits hard enough to hurt Tyson Fury. He's not a big puncher. But Steve Cunningham's hurt him. Steve Cunningham's dropped him. Other fighters have dropped him. Other fighters have hurt him. I'm not going to put Deontay Wilder in that class because he's a different level sort of puncher. But he can get it. And also, this is another thing about the weight. I've seen fighters in the past that used to be quite heavy, big, call it overweight or whatever, but it works for them. And then when they lose the weight and become more body beautiful and lose a chunk of weight, they don't hold a shot quite as well. You know, not quite as sturdy. So I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying that that could be another factor in this fight. Yeah, you just don't know. Will he have the same punch resistance? Has he got the same punch resistance as what he has before? Because he's been on the floor. He's been on the floor quite a lot. Obviously, he keeps getting up, but he's a fighter that does go over. So you know, Usyk does it hard enough. It's hard enough to hurt people. You know, it's hard enough to make people, you know, second guess themselves. You don't have to hit hard enough to hurt somebody every time, but he starts making Fury second guess what he's wanting to do. You know, you don't. It's a great fight, honestly, mate. I genuinely. It's one of those where you look at it. The more you look at it, you see the assets of both fighters, and you see, you know, both fighters are getting older as well. And you've got to be able to see at this level of fighters how both men can win the fight. That doesn't mean you're sitting on effects. That's that you can see that both men have got great assets. Both men have shown vulnerabilities that the other man is good enough to exploit it. So I just think it's a fantastic fight, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I've been to and throwing with it as well. Every discussion I've had in the gym, it's always been, yeah, but Usyk's done this and Usyk can do that. So I'm to and throwing as well. But I'm going to get the prediction with the last question, but I am going to get your thoughts on today. I mean, like I said to you, it's Monday. I'm guessing you saw the footage that's came out of Riyadh with Big John Fury. I just want to get your thoughts on all that, Dave.
At the risk of getting my face smashed in, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, listen, it's all good fun, and he knows how to sell a fight and everything like that. But then there's going too far, and you know, the usual John Fury shouting, getting in people's faces, and shouting and screaming. That's all part of the fun and fight week of Tyson Fury, and whenever Tommy Fury is fighting or anything like that. And that's what you expect. But sticking a knot on somebody, just because they're shouting somebody's name, you know, that's a bit much. Yeah, and that's not my sort of thing. And I think anyone that celebrates that, it's not my kind of thing. You know, I just think there's no place for that in boxing. Will it affect Tyson Fury? Not at all. They'll be sat there like all camp up, like ripping the piss out of it, taking the piss out of John Fury because he's come away with a cut on it. You know, yeah. But for me, I don't like that. I don't. You know, it's about the fighters. You know, support your team and what have you, and have a. Just the same, they were singing. You know, they were chanting Usyk and Fury's team chanting Fury. That's good banter. That's good rivalry. There's no need to, as you're walking past them, you look at him and just they cannot on him. You know, and he I don't know who the fellow was that he did, but mate, it looks like he was about 17, 18 years old. You know, obviously he'll be a little bit older than that probably, but he looked like a kid, and he took it well. He took it really, really well. So yeah, bit of a bad one, isn't it? Really.
Well, I know you said you're sitting on the fence. I know you're busy, Dave. So I'll end it on this question. Now, if you had to, right? If I had a gun to your head, right, and you had to pick a winner, who are you going for and how? Bear in mind, I've got a gun to your head, Dave.
I just, do you know what? I want to see what they're weighing. I want to see what they're weighing at first before I actually commit to a leaning prediction. I need to see, because I think if Usyk's lighter, I saw a picture. I think they're doing the media day or something like that, and sometimes you can't really tell on video, but he looks leaner. It looks lighter, a bit slimmer. It doesn't look as square. My issue is that I think as a heavyweight, it's looked a little bit square, and I think that is a disadvantage. Whereas in this, he looks a little bit leaner, and I think if he's lighter, I would lean towards Usyk a little bit. But overriding, you've got to think it's just the size of the man, the size of Fury, and how hard Usyk's got to work. You'd say that Fury's a favourite. That's as good as you're going to get from me right now.
I was going to say, is that your pick?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a completely pointless interview because I don't know. Like I said, it's the dimensions of it. Usyk has to work incredibly hard to win this fight. If he wins this fight, mate, he's done really well there because it's the size. But if he's lighter and he's more nimble and he's more like what he was at cruiserweight, then I give him a really strong chance. I really do. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, listen,
Mate, I don't know. I'm on this fence, right? I'm on this fence, and I'm just gonna sit on the fence, right? Just for you. I'm sat on a fence, literally, right? And that's me. I'm sitting on the fence, and I'm owning it.
own it, Dave. Own it. Listen, it's a tough one to call, and I do appreciate your time as always, mate. But don't get splinters on your bum, mate, if you're sitting on that fence too hard. Okay. Enjoy your evening, Dave. And like I said,
I'll call it. I'll call it after the weigh-in. Honestly, I'll call it after the weigh-in.
well, guess what? I'm going to give you a message after the weigh-in for an interview. How's that?
All right, mate. Nice one.
Dave, enjoy your evening, mate. I'll speak to you soon, mate. Thanks again.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks, mate.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.